4 people have been killed after Kurdish-led fighters attacked security forces in Aleppo, according to Syria's interior ministry. Heavy machine gun fire and fighting have been reported in the areas of Sheikh Maqsoud and Ashrafiyah. The incident comes after the Syrian Democratic Forces delegation held talks with the government in Damascus. The stalled discussions were about integrating SDF fighters into Syria's national army. All right, let's speak now to Ayman Ogana. He's live for us from Beit Jin in southern Syria. Ayman, what more do you know about the fighting that's ongoing in Aleppo?
Well, today, violent clashes broke out in the northern Syrian city of Aleppo between Kurdish-led Syrian Democratic Forces and government troops. So far, it has been one of the bloodiest days in Aleppo since the fall of the Assad regime. The fighting is centered around 2 neighborhoods, Ashrafiyah and Sheikh Maqsoud. These are Kurdish-majority neighborhoods that the SDF has controlled since 2015, and they also have strategic value with a lot of high ground. Fighting started, according to Syrian state media, with an SDF drone strike on a government position. This killed 1 government soldier and wounded 3. Then following that, there were mortar shells seen coming from Sheikh Maqsoud and Ashrafiyah into civilian areas where 3 civilians were killed, including 2 women. These escalations and clashes and confrontations are coming after failed integration talks between Damascus and the SDF. Right now, this is a breaking story, but as of now, in terms of the violence, that's all we know.
Ayman, as you mentioned, and it bears repeating, that this fighting comes after a Syrian Democratic Forces delegation held talks with the government in Damascus, and these discussions were about integrating those SDF fighters into Syria's national army. If you could just give us some more context as to why this has been so difficult to achieve and where things stand.
Well, of all the challenges to Syria's national unity, the integration of the SDF is by far the biggest. Back in March, a so-called historic agreement was made between the SDF and Damascus, which would have seen the SDF integrate into government forces and institutions by the end of 2025. Well, obviously, that deadline has passed. SDF commanders made a recent visit to Damascus to revive the talks, but that ended in no resolution. So tensions have been escalating. There are major sticking points. The SDF estimates vary, but the SDF control between 50,000 and 90,000 fighters, well-trained, US-trained fighters. To put that into perspective, the British Army only has about 73,000 active soldiers. So the size of the SDF forces is a major issue. So too is who controls them and their conformation. The SDF want to keep 3 divisions under SDF command, whereas Damascus would like to see joint command or an elimination of the command structures with the SDF. As well as Damascus and the SDF, there are foreign actors strongly following the SDF integration negotiations, of the most important of which is Ankara. Ankara sees the SDF as the Syrian branch of the PKK, an organization that Turkey has been at war with since 1984 in a conflict that has killed 40,000 civilians. For Ankara, one of the major sticking points too is control of the borders. The SDF currently control the borders with Turkey, and Turkey would like to see this taken under government control. So there are many issues, and the failure to integrate the SDF remains one of the biggest flashpoints in Syria today.
All right, that's Al Jazeera's Ayman Ogana live for us from the village of Beit Jin in southern Syria. Thanks so much, Ayman.
Don't miss out and get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.